Welcome to LoveLine
with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Would you sleep with sick women?
I may be pregnant, but I'm still a man.
Spank the unruly ones.
It's indecent, it's vulgar, it's blasphemous.
I'm gonna ride you till you can't stand up.
Come on, let's go down. All right, keep your shirt on.
LoveLine's meant for an adult audience. LoveLine may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion is advised. Here's LoveLine with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
All right, phone number 1-800-LOVE-191, fax number 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla, that is Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician, an addiction medicine specialist, and tonight our guest is Jon Favreau from Swingers, writer, director, producer, entrepreneur, improvisational actor, and thrill seeker. Hi, John.
How you doing? Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it is my pleasure. I feel like a bucket of fried hell tonight, but thankfully Drew scored.
Yeah, I really know. Scored. That's amazing. But I know you're really sick when you call me.
Yeah, I called Drew at about 8:30 tonight, and I said, Drew, clean out the medicine cabinet. Whatever pharmaceutical samples you have, I don't care if it's estrogen shots or birth control pills. Bring them.
And I've been practicing medicine for 10 years, and I've never handed anybody medicines or a prescription that they said, oh, dude, cool, you scored.
Well, that's the way I look at the exchange of drugs in a parking lot, Drew.
Right.
It's a score.
Huh.
All right. Jon is here. Jon, of course, Swingers, everyone knows about. Drew and I are the only two people on the planet who haven't seen Swingers.
Well, hopefully some of the callers have seen it.
I'm sure they have, and everyone's raving about it. And I'll take their word for it and just go along with it's a great film.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thanks a lot.
I will go out and see it, and then I'll think, Jesus, I should have kissed his ass a little more. That happens all the time here on LoveLine. We have bands that I never heard of, or they're up and coming, or what have you, and I sit here and I treat them like crap for 2 hours, and then 6 months later they break, and I think I should have kissed some ass. So I've learned my lesson. Tonight I will start kissing ass early. You have an interesting story, and first off, I want to be one of your buddies. Would that be cool?
Yeah, sure. No problem. You want to go kick it? Yeah, me and you.
Yeah, I want to hang out.
No problem.
Okay, because
Is that how you get to roll with his next movies?
Yeah, that's what I'm heading toward.
You got that nice screen presence on the television. I noticed.
I do.
The camera likes you a lot.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. And this is coming from
Yeah.
a hit writer, director, and producer. So he knows talent when he spots it.
He's never seen the TV show.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
All right. Well, we never seen Swingers, so we're even.
Here we go.
But we both say we loved it.
Well, we're off to a great start.
You want to talk about Swingers a little and then talk about the improvisational thing? Or do you
Let's. Well, Swingers is pretty much gone from the theaters, except it's sort of lingering at a few midnight showings and stuff. There are a couple people who like to keep going seeing this film, so it's getting like a little bit of a cult following.
Right.
It'll be out on video in a couple months, I think.
And so it'll hopefully have a whole new life then.
Hopefully, yeah. A lot of people had trouble finding theaters with it because it sort of had a limited release.
What was the budget for this, if you don't mind?
We shot the thing for like $250,000 originally,
man.
And then when Miramax bought it, we had to go back and pay all our crew members and pay for the music and stuff. It ended up the budget was what you see on the screen's about $1 million, which is still pretty good. We got a lot of bang for our buck.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's the way to do it. I mean, it seems so risky to do a $80 million, shoot-'em-up sci-fi extravaganza. I mean, when you could just take a little more time, get a better script, put the money into that, pay, $5 or $10 million bucks and look for some kind of payday.
I guess that's it, yeah.
Is it that story and character relations are coming back and moving away from action? Or?
I think so, but you know what? People in other countries love seeing things blow up, and that, you don't have to really understand the nuances of our society to understand that. So those are always going to make a lot of money overseas and stuff. So there's always going to be a market for those big movies.
Right.
But it's nice that the little independent films are getting a shot. Now with the Academy Awards with like Sling Blade and Shine and all these smaller films getting attention, you'd think that maybe people would, start to believe in them more.
Now, Swingers came out in 97, right?
96. We're in 97 now, so it came out 96. Came out Like the fall of last year, yeah.
Oh, it came out that early.
Yeah, it was before. I remember it was before Thanksgiving because they put us in like all these. Somehow they painted a pilgrim hat on me for one of the ads.
And they want to do that for the TV show with us,
it's great.
too, but we didn't go for it.
Market research.
So it came out that early, but it's just sort of was a sleeper, and it's been gathering momentum as it goes.
Yeah, we did really well in the festivals. We started off in Venice, Italy, and got great reviews and a lot of attention. A lot of the trade magazines,
Right.
Like Entertainment Weekly and Variety and Hollywood Reporter really gave us good write-ups, and people took notice and started. So the crowds and the word of mouth started to develop from there.
And so this has now opened a lot of doors for you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm working in also. Well, right now I'm working on Friends. Actually, they call me up and they the producers were nice enough to ask me to come on and do a couple episodes.
Oh, you're doing more than one.
Yeah, I'm doing. Wow. Yeah, a few more than one. I'm pretty much going through to the end of the season, I think.
You're playing someone's love interest?
Yeah, Monica, Courtney Cox.
Monica. All right. I saw Friends tonight, and I'll tell you that my God's honest opinion about Friends is I would love to hate this show. I really would. I mean, it's just on
Where are we
some
going with
levels.
this here?
I'll tell you. No, it's
These
coming
are my
around.
employees
it's coming
right
around
now.
to
Okay.
a compliment. On some levels, it's everything that I would love to hate about television.
Yeah.
But it's actually a good show. It's real well written, and it's real well acted, and it's well directed.
Well, I'll tell you, they're real good at what they do on that show, and the crowds. For me, it's great because I haven't done live theater in a while.
Right.
Pretty much since back in Chicago, which is Improv Olympic, which is I'm also going to talk about that a little
Right.
bit. But my experience in front of a live audience, that's the most fun that an actor has. And these people wait for like 2 seasons to see this show, and these crowds go crazy. And they love these characters so much. It's just such an exhilarating experience after doing these plotting independent films where you have no money and you're rushing around. To get up on stage in front of these people is just...
It does draw it
wonderful.
out of you.
It's pretty cool.
Well, let's talk about the Improv Olympic here for a second.
Well, I moved from New York to Chicago, and I studied improvisation there at the Improv Olympic.
And let me give everyone, because, see, this is a real little-known aspect of the business that people don't know about, improvisational comedy and improvisational troupes and group improv. People don't really know about this. They think people either act or they do stand-up.
Right.
I mean, you're layman or you're a writer, but they don't know about this other art form, which is basically... You get average troupe size is probably anywhere from maybe 6 people to 12 or 13 people. And they're groups of guys and girls that are primarily actors but also writers. And they specialize in improvisational comedy. And this is where my background is. And what you do is you do scenes, little 3, 4, 5 minute scenes like you'd see on Saturday Night Live, except for they're all improvised.
Yeah.
And the way you do a normal one, there's a lot of different games, and it's a lot of fun for the audience, is there's usually a director, and the director will come out and they'll say, okay, we have John and we have Chris Farley, and who else is doing it? Andy Dick, I believe, is doing it.
Yeah.
Here's the 3 of them. Give us a location. And someone will say, a bomb shelter. And they'll say, okay, give us a relationship for these 3. They're triplets. They're all identical twin or triplets. This pain medication is really doing me an injustice.
So come
tonight.
on down to that.
Yeah, it sounds exciting, doesn't it? And then the lights will go down. At least this is how we used to do it. And lights will come up, and they'll improv a scene.
Yeah.
And they'll get out, do the old who, what, and where, and they'll get out all this information and build. And when it looks like it's a good laugh line, or it's gone on too long, or it's getting painfully embarrassing, the director will give a hand movement, and that'll be a blackout. And that'll be the end of that scene. There'll be a little applause, and then on with the next
That's a
scene.
traditional style of it. Over at the Improv Olympic, what was cool is that Del Close had developed different long-form styles. So you'd go in and actually give a couple suggestions, and it would look like a play. So you wouldn't just have one scene with a gag. You develop longer form things, and it would look like a one-act play. And actually, my only writing training, and Swingers was my first screenplay that I wrote, was improvisation. You really learn to think on your feet.
Right.
And it's quite wonderful to see. They're actually the Improv Olympic now has a theater out in Los Angeles. It's at the Stellar Adler Theater in Hollywood, and that's on the corner of Hollywood and Vine. And I think the tickets are $10, and they're opening on March 8th at 8 p.m.
Now, you going to be there on March 8th?
I'm going to go check it out, see a lot of the people from back in Chicago. They're coming out here. There are people like Dave Keckner is going to be there, and Andy Dick, like you said. And
Andy Dick's nuts.
Andy Dick's a pretty funny character.
Do you know Andy Dick?
I've spent some time with the guy, yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a friend of the show. He is a talented guy. He has a large penis. He's not scared to show it to strangers.
So come on down. March 8th, 8 p.m.
All right. Well, we'll get more into this and more into everything as we go. But
there's a phone number I should give, probably.
Spit that out.
Let's say it's, I believe it's 213-694-2935 for reservations. 213-694-2935.
And we'll get that out another time later on the show if you missed it. Brenda, 39, you're on LoveLine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a situation. I work as a shift manager at a fast food restaurant, and this one gal that works with me, she's had a really rough life, and I think she kind of looks up to me, and she's been asking a lot of questions, and and I just don't know if I should actually tell her about myself or whether I should let her figure it out.
What? Figure what out?
That I'm transsexual.
You're transsexual.
And
which direction?
Always go into a woman. Women don't turn into men.
Oh, yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh, please. One guy, one woman.
Well, to begin with, I'm not a he anyway.
But you had a phallus.
I'm MTF. Whatever.
You're what?
I'm male to female.
Yeah. Right. Drew,
what
I'd like to get
him?
some. He's called him. What'd you call yourself?
M to F.
M to F.
Oh, okay.
M to F. Okay. You'd like to get some what?
Whatever.
I'd like to get some research. Don't get sassy, Brenda.
Well,
just because I'll smack you one just because you were a man.
What?
All right, just relax for a second.
I am nervous, but this.
Hold on, Brenda. Brenda, hold on. All right,
Brenda, this is a safe place.
It really is. I would bet you that 90% of the transsexuals were males and had become females. Would you like to look into that, Drew?
I will do what I can, but I don't think it's like 90%. I think it's higher, certainly male M to F.
Yes.
But there is F to M.
All right, so Brenda.
Yes.
You want to know how to tell a coworker?
She's not really a coworker though. She's younger and she's.
Well, what is she?
Huh?
Do you work with her or not?
I'm her boss.
All right. Do you guys work at the same place?
Yes.
No, wait.
All right. That is a coworker.
The cold medicines make you irritable. It's early in the show tonight.
All right.
You are a bit
Brenda.
testy.
No, Brenda.
But you lost yours, so.
There we go.
Brenda, you're nervous and a little defensive, so hold on here, okay? Now, what exactly can we do to help you?
Should I tell her? Should I
yes, you should
say
be.
It to her, or should I just let her figure it out?
No, you should be very honest with her.
Why? There's people you work with. Who cares?
Because this is somebody who's for whom Brenda is a role model of some type, or for whom.
Yes, I think so. She's Hmong. She's about.
She's what? Well, you got the lingo here. You got to keep.
Hmong.
She's
M-U-N-G.
What does that mean?
She's Oriental.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the small tribes.
I picked up a little Mandarin in that sentence. Hey, Brenda.
Is there an electric storm in the other room?
You got to speak English, though. You understand that?
Well, there's a fairly significant Hmong community in Minnesota.
I just listen. I beg ignorance. I'm sorry, and then I have no.
Don't you have to get some sort of psychological exam before you can be a transsexual?
Well, let's talk about that. What did you have to go through?
I went through a lot of therapy. Yeah.
Somebody forged something for you.
No.
For how long?
Several years.
And then you have to live like a woman for a year, right?
Yeah.
A couple years.
Hell, I'm doing that now.
And where did you have the operation, or did you have the operation yet?
I don't know. No, I haven't.
Are you underway? Is that something that's?
Yeah, you got $10,000 on you.
But you haven't started the process yet.
Yeah, I'm full time.
All right, Brenda. As much as I love talking to a transsexual who works at Arby's, which is incredible radio, I have to hang up on you because
no, come on.
You're belligerent / sassy / drunk.
Look, no, he. It's really you're really not even M to F yet. You're just still M, right?
No.
You're living as a female.
She's definitely F'd. I don't know about the M part.
I'm sorry, I'm confused here.
You're not yet undergone any. You haven't come under the knife yet. Is that right?
Wow.
Well, that may be, but
Okay,
I've
but
been on
you're-
hormones for a long time.
You're on hormones and you're living as a female. Okay.
I am a female, yes.
You have a penis.
Big deal.
All right. Listen, you're not a female until you shed the penis. That's all. You are
Well,
a
there's-
caterpillar until you become a
Well,
butterfly.
okay.
There's all
Well,
kinds of theories
whatever.
about. Brenda, hold on. Let me try to temper Adam's irritability tonight. I don't know why I'm so magnanimous all of a sudden, but the people that think about these things and study this sort of business believe that there's sort of phenotype, that's how you look, and then there's sort of gender identity, which is really how you grow up,
Right.
and then there is your sort of biological gender issue, and those things can all line up in different ways. Brenda,
Yeah.
you
I
just
understand
out
I'm
of
not-
curiosity.
I
this-
understand I'm not female.
I
but
understand, we
consider
understand
myself
too.
a woman.
We understand too.
That's-
When you started therapy years ago,
Yeah.
what were you started? Why did you start therapy? What were you going for?
I went there specifically because I was transsexual.
So
I've gone through a lot of therapy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had a lot of problems.
what kind of problems?
Well, I was hospitalized for suicidal problems.
Are you a survivor of sexual abuse?
No,
Of physical abuse?
probably more like emotional abandonment and stuff like that. I was kind of dysfunctional family.
Hold on. John, this is going to be your next screenplay, by the way.
Okay. And so you started with that, and then these gender issues came in, and now you're doing this, and now you work. You have
Well, it's a long story. My mom was severely physically abused, and she was pretty much emotionally absent. She was a good housekeeper,
All right.
Right.
Okay, well, gotcha. But all right, so your question is, should you be honest with somebody that looks up to you? And yes, I mean, absolutely. But you
Well,
don't.
see, on the other hand, it's such a strong impulse on my part, just because it really hasn't come up as an issue at work, and it's
I understand.
nice that way.
Certainly, it'd be reasonable for you to.
And there are people that know, but
All right, hold on. Brenda, where do you work? What fast food place?
that is important.
It is to me.
Why?
All right, now I'm hanging up on you.
Okay, you want to know.
Spit it out or I hang up.
Wendy's.
All right, listen. Here's the deal. People that work at these fast food places, their average lifespan at a fast food place. I worked at McDonald's in Studio City, and if anyone's listening who works there, you can kiss my ass because I got a radio show. The average lifespan there is about 2.5 weeks, maybe a month if you're a complete loser. All right? You do not have to come clean with your coworkers. You shouldn't even look them in the eye. You shouldn't even say hi and bye. This is a total transitory sort of job.
All right, but if
they
Brenda
certainly don't need to. This young 16-year-old does not need to be traumatized by Brenda's half man, half woman, half scrotum experiment.
But if Brenda has a friend who's a coworker who idealizes her in him in some way,
no one's idealizing Brenda.
It is perfectly reasonable for her to be completely honest. And if she's
Okay.
going to have a relationship, that's fine. But be respectful of the boundaries if she indeed is the manager.
All right. Angie, 20. I'm sorry you had to experience that, John.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
My question is regarding masturbation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
John's on board now.
All right, that's great. Actually, I was wondering, what's the average age for females to start masturbating?
13 years, 4 months, and 7 days.
Wow, that's pretty accurate. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I started when I was 6 years old, and when I talk about this with my friends, they all just seem so surprised, and I mean, I didn't realize that was abnormal until, the more people I started talking to, the more
It is unusual. It's not necessarily abnormal.
Well, there's the diddling, and then there's full-blown masturbation. I mean, everybody walks around with their genitalia in their hands until somebody slaps them, at the age 6 or 7 and tells them to knock it off.
Were you masturbating to orgasm?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's
How do you do that at 6?
I don't know, but I did.
I would have if I could have, so don't feel bad.
I guess I should consider myself lucky or something.
Speaking of Andy
but, I
Dick,
mean-
remember he told us when he was on the other day that he was taken to a urologist at 5 years old for excessive masturbation.
Really?
Oh, yes.
5.
I mean, is there anything emotionally that could have
Yeah,
fed
well,
into this?
anytime there's premature sexualization of a child, you worry about it. You just wonder, was there something? Because children don't normally sexualize. Was it? Were you having actual sexual thoughts during this?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had Barbies, so I had visual.
Oh, right.
Right.
Of actual sexual acts.
Yeah.
You and
Well, the only way you would really know that unless you saw some adults doing that.
So what happened? Angie, were you exposed to anything?
See, not that I remember. I don't remember ever being exposed. I mean, except for things on TV. I mean, I had an imagination.
Okay, but it does. Wait, here's the important thing.
Uh-huh.
Are you able to carry out on in normal relationships?
Yeah.
Stable relationships.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You had boyfriends.
Right.
And those relationships have been not traumatic or chaotic in any way.
No.
Any more so than every teenager anyway. And you've had physical relationships with them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And those have been gratifying and comfortable.
Right.
All right. Well, that's good.
Then don't worry about it, okay?
If it ain't broke. Yeah. Hey, I would have started too. You know, as a male, biologically, you're not able to produce what you need to produce, so it just becomes sort of you're just scratching yourself for a prolonged period of time.
Right.
But as I've said many times on this show, your natural instinct, I think, is to fiddle with yourself as a youngster.
Men particularly.
And you get that sort of beat out of you, and you take a break.
First thing men do when they come out of a coma, when they're rising up, the sort of the level of awareness is coming out. You know, they're coming from stupor to moving around. That's the first thing the men do is start grabbing themselves.
Right. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, and that's like a 6-hour coma. Of course. Could you imagine? I mean, I couldn't imagine going a day and a half without it, much less being in a coma for half a year. I mean, I would be like, I'd be into at least triple digits in the hole as far as masturbatory stuff. All right, we got to go to break, but let's just talk to Chris. Wait a minute. I don't want to talk to Chris. I want to talk to Frank.
Hello?
23, real quick.
Jon.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of yours. Seen your movie 3 times. I was just wondering, like, what your inspirations were, and like the characters. I have a bunch of friends, and we all kind of associate with each character, except for Trent. We all thought he was like way too cool to be a friend to anybody. So we were just wondering, like, did you actually know these characters like throughout your life since you wrote it, or did you just think them up?
All right, hold on. John, we're going to tease that, as we say in Radio Land. And Frank, we'll put you on hold. We'll bring you back, and we'll get to all these for Jon Favreau right after this break.
All of my most sensitive areas were inflamed.
Really? LoveLine will be right back to deal with inflamed, sensitive areas.
All right, more LoveLine. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. Tonight, Jon Favreau of Swingers fame. Writer, director, actor.
Actually, I didn't direct that one. Oh, is my thing on?
Yeah.
I didn't direct the film. A fellow by the name of Doug Lyman was the director. I actually was one of the producers. I wrote it, and I starred in it, too.
All right, yeah, good enough.
Okay, well.
And you could have directed it if you wanted to. Also, Improv Olympic.
Improv Olympic, yeah.
And now, it's not the Improv Olympics. It's Improv Olympic.
Improv Olympic, yeah.
That's not one word, though, is it?
I don't know. No, it looks here like they spell it 2 words.
All right.
I think there are legal problems if you do it the other way or something.
And that's going to be going on starting this Saturday.
Starting Saturday, March 8th, yeah, this Saturday.
And that'll continue to run on the weekends, Friday and Saturdays?
Yeah, Fridays and Saturdays at the Stellar Adler Theater at 6773 Hollywood Boulevard in the corner of Hollywood and Vine.
And there'll be...
I'm sorry, Hollywood and Highland. I'm giving the wrong address. I haven't been there yet.
And there'll be sort of celebrities like yourself and Chris Farley and Andy Dick wandering in and out of the
They're
place.
They're going to be there. A lot of famous people came out of the Improv Olympic. You had like Chris Farley, Mike Myers was doing it when he was teaching classes when I first got there in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, famous Pete Holney, Pat Finn, a lot of famous guys came out of there. Yeah.
And this is a chance. I mean, a lot of these guys have made it, and they have series, and they're doing movies and whatnot. But this is a chance for these guys to get back to their roots and hang out with some of the homies from the old town,
homies, right.
and do the stuff that they did at the beginning and probably like the best. There's no teleprompter and there's no table read. It's just sort of acting and improvisational acting, I should say, at its purest.
Yeah, that's right. Can I give the number once again? For
Sure.
the people who want it, the reservation hotline is 213-694-2935.
And it really is an interesting form that a lot of people aren't familiar with, and it's a lot of fun to watch because unlike a play where you just sort of sit there and there's that fourth wall thing and you have to just observe, here you can get in, you can give suggestions and get sort of involved.
Scream at them, yeah.
With what's going on. Frank, 23.
Yeah, I called about the question.
Right, for John.
Yeah. If, what his inspirations were, if he had those types of friends, and how does he come up with a cool character like Trent?
Well, actually, the guy who played Trent, Vince Vaughn, was very much the inspiration of the character. Although he's not quite as crass as the character of Trent, he had certain personality traits that I sort of exaggerated a bit in my writing. But a lot of that is one aspect of his personality. As a matter of fact, all the people in the film were people I had worked with before, and I wrote the parts with them in mind. And I sort of did the same to myself. So I sort of made caricatures of my friends, and then they ended up playing themselves. And that's why it has the chemistry that it has, and I think that's why people are responding so well to it.
Yeah, do you guys really sit around and play Nintendo?
We used to sit around and play that Sega hockey, that NHL hockey game, but we haven't done it in a while.
On the movie, Trent mentioned that his age was like 24, I guess.
Yeah, he's older than that, though.
Yeah, but on the movie, I think he mentioned it when you guys were in.
Yeah, that's right. I'm 24 years old. That's right.
When you guys were in the mobile.
In the trailer, right?
Yeah.
In the Airstream.
And all my friends are about that age, and we basically, sit around, talk, and play Nintendo.
It's
or
sad.
Sega, actually. So yeah.
How old were you when you started masturbating?
Friends might be listening. So,
oh yeah, I hear you.
I was
older than 6.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Much older than
Younger than 16.
But before 8.
Yeah.
All right, Frank.
Yeah.
Start taking notes next time you and your loser buddies are sitting around. Okay? You could parlay that into something. Oh, I only wish one of my loser buddies would sit down and pen something and put me in it.
They're all saying that about you.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe when they get, if there's some sort of work furlough or something, I can cast them in a movie. Chris, 26.
Well, they're perfect for the jailbreak.
Thank you, Chris.
You should have written The Rock.
Thank you. Drew, you were getting much too corny.
You guys, I got a question for you. I got this girlfriend. She's 23. I've been going out with her about 3 months, and she's getting kind of wild as far as like when we're in bed. She started out scratching and biting, and then it just got more intense. And like the other week, I've got this Band-Aid on my shoulder where she actually tore a piece of skin off my shoulder. Like bleeding pretty bad.
Maybe she thought it was a lapel and you're being stripped of your rank.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I mean, I really like her and stuff, but it's the other day she carries around a stun gun, just for self-protection and everything. But she's got that. She had it next to the bed, and she kind of hinted that she wanted to use that.
Wouldn't you think the gnawing, scratching, and biting would be her first line of defense?
Yeah, definitely. She's pretty good at that.
All right.
That's the point. She's done with that now.
So she wants to give you the stun gun.
Oh, I don't know. She's just getting rougher and rougher. She's.
Well, John was nodding his head an awful lot here. Let's see what he's got to say.
What?
About
Me? Don't drag me into this one here. I just would keep the weapons away from the bed. That's just me personally.
Do you tell her that you're not enjoying some of this stuff?
Well, yeah, I told her, but when you're actually in the act, right in the passionate, the heat of the moment,
the anesthesia kicks in.
I like a little rough love, but my rule of thumb is never be nude around weapons. That is rule. Just pepper spray, stun guns, handguns, assault weapons, claymores, whatever it be. Try not to be naked around it.
Right, I had to get stitches from the last time.
It's mine. All right, so Chris.
Yeah.
Tell her to settle down. Who's wearing the pants over there?
Oh, she does.
Oh, okay.
Does she just dish it out, or does she take it too, or she always wants to be
the punch pretty well.
All right.
Wow.
Chris, don't be. You're not punching anyone, are you?
Well, only when she wants to.
All right. Find more out about it. I'm just.
Chris is a dick. Forget him.
Find out more about this person too, and there might be something not quite right about her. I mean, that's just a little over the top. Not to say that S&M necessarily is anything deviant in terms of there being something majorly out of line psychologically. It's just concerned.
Okay.
You know, it's not like they're agreeing to it and trying it out. She's attacking him and doing stuff he doesn't really like.
She may have some hatred for men that she's living out through a sexual
just
fantasy.
Some weird association there. So.
Mark.
Yes.
You're 13.
Mm-hmm.
You're on LoveLine.
Okay. It may sound weird, but I think I'm developing a third nut.
You're what?
Developing a third nut.
Okay, is it on your forehead?
No.
All right. Does it have any visual capabilities, or is it just purely aesthetic?
No.
No, you can't see into the future
Mark,
with
the
it.
deal is,
Huh?
Mark, listen to me.
Yeah.
If you have a third anything in your scrotum sac, get it checked out by a doctor. There's a multiplicity of things that could be. At your age, it's most likely to be actually a hernia, probably.
Oh, really?
Could be a hydrocele, like the little fluid-filled cyst can form in there. The epididymis can enlarge, and there occasionally can be tumors. The tumors are usually hard and sort of pebbly like that, like rocks.
Yeah, and it's believe me, you don't spring new stuff. Meaning, if you get a wart on your shoulder, you're not springing a third arm.
A third
you
shoulder,
have you have a growth.
Right, and you don't get a third nut.
But if by any chance you do have a third nut, you will win a lot of bets and bars.
Absolutely.
Yes. And whatever. And
Drew, what's wrong?
I'm not following.
Drew, hold on. Drew, your job is not to understand comedy, please. Just dispense with the boring medical advice and we'll move
But
on.
I feel bad because I was laughing like it was funny, and now you're telling me that this poor kid might have some sort of cancerous condition.
No, I doubt it's cancer. It's probably a hernia.
He's
but
probably giggling around the phone with his friends, I think.
Well, frankly, I think so too. But the fact is, this is not that uncommon a thing, and we do not make probably in our culture do not emphasize enough the fact that men need to check themselves.
Yes.
We taught women to check themselves.
Absolutely.
And men, particularly
Here,
young
here.
men under the age of 30, get testicular cancer.
What is the leading form of cancer for males under the age of 30, Drew?
Testicular cancer.
That's right. And where are all the PSAs? For
breast cancer.
Yeah, well, all right, smooth transition. But yes, that's what I was saying is, there's a breast cancer clinic and they're running exams on the news, and there's a bunch of PSAs on the radio telling women to check themselves. Meanwhile, you don't hear anything about the male version of this cancer, which is testicular cancer, which is the most prevalent form of cancer for young males, and people should be checking themselves out. When, Drew?
When?
When?
In the shower, probably?
When they get out of the shower.
When they get out of the shower.
it's a
Drew,
good
you're
time.
fired.
It was a good time.
All right. Brittany.
Yes.
What can we do for you?
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, I'm hanging up on you.
What's going on? Just don't pay attention to Adam tonight. He's quite crabby.
This cold
I'm here to
medication has got me going.
I told you not to take it, too. I told you to take the antibiotic and not to take the cold medicine.
You told me not to wash it down with vermouth. You didn't say not to take it.
All right, Brittany, what's
Drew,
up?
you're moving in slow motion tonight.
What's
So
going
you think.
on is I've got some really interesting news that I think you guys, might have something to say about.
All right.
It's a new option for the healthy, normal female. It's called the vibration method.
What?
It's a non-surgical abortion research procedure. Well, it's a procedure that a group of us have been working on for about 5 years. And what it is you take a vibrator and you put it on your tummy, on the outside of your tummy. Now, this is like a vibrator that you could go down and buy at the mall, and it has a round diaphragm head. And you put it on your tummy for 20 minutes, and you vibrate in an increased pattern procedure. And what happens is it upsets the brain, and it kicks in your defense mechanism. And then the brain urges to
Do you have a train going through your house?
Yeah.
It's like the Blues Brothers here. All right.
It says here you work at Wendy's.
Huh?
You're not cooking toast on a hot plate, are you?
No.
Okay.
We're just doing a little bit of research.
All right, so what does this do then?
Wait. Who's doing the research?
A group of us.
Just you and your friends?
Who is
Yeah,
sponsoring?
me and my friends, and we've been working on this for about 5 years, and it started out because we just wanted to find a better way.
I know how it started
We really
out.
weren't serious at first, you know what I'm saying? But to tell you the truth, it works. It really works. I mean,
It
on
works?
hundreds of girls, you'd be shocked.
It works for what?
Brittany, we're not going to recommend that until until the data is published, okay? Really.
No, listen, seriously.
Honestly.
Hold on, I want to hear it. Drew, quiet down.
Agitation, disruption to the uterus. We really feel that this is the answer to the pregnancy problem. You take a vibrator, you put it on your tummy for 20 minutes, morning, noon, and night. By the third or fourth day, the brain is so upset by the vibration, agitation, disruption to the uterus that it urges to free the uterus.
How does the brain do that?
Well, I don't know. It just does. We don't.
How did
have
you stumble upon
equipment
this?
enough to track that, but I'm just saying that the disruption to the uterus. Now, when you do the disruption, it's kind of like a hoax. You're really not.
It is a hoax. That's right.
All right, hold on.
And this is just like
Brittany, hold on.
Okay.
Please. First off, I'm guessing this could be caused by your proximity to the train tracks and that thing running by your house 4 or 5 times a night.
I've been studying for a while, and it's just kind of interesting. And some people tried it, and it worked. And one thing led to another.
How many pregnancies have you terminated in this fashion? How many pregnancies have you terminated in this fashion?
I've only done one.
Oh, imagine that. Most pregnancies terminate in the first trimester.
All right. Drew, there's no money for Drew or any of his colleagues in this new technique, so obviously he's against it.
Adam, you are so full of it.
All right. Yeah. What you're doing is you're scrambling the kid.
Right,
the kid's going to come. You're going to give birth to like poached eggs.
No, you're not doing crap. But let's talk about what you can do. You can take the morning after pill.
Right.
You will be able to take RU486.
When?
I don't know. But you can use the morning after pill. If you've had unprotected sexual intercourse within 72 hours, preferably within 48 hours of having had the intercourse, you can take a medication called Overal or low Overal in a particular way that will cause you to prevent that pregnancy with about 70-80% effectiveness.
Not that we're advocating abortion as a
no,
method
actually,
of birth control.
I'm actually pretty much anti-abortion myself.
Right,
But I do think the morning.
I'm for it.
I am,
even for people that aren't pregnant.
I think implantation is a point that everybody feels is really a critical point that life is established, and basically, absolutely, the morning after pill just prevents implantation.
All right, and Brittany was just basically rationalizing her overuse of the vibrator.
That's what I think. Too.
Listen, I call when I have myself in the shower, I call it prostate maintenance. So we all have our crutches. All right, Jon Favreau from Swingers. When we come back.
Meanwhile, as the faceless evil closes in on the hapless, sleeping populace across town in a shanty one-bedroom, an old woman feeds her parakeet.
Come on, Chirpy, have some cheese. You love cheese. Since when are you afraid of cheese?
LoveLine will be right back.
Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Jon Favreau from Swingers is here tonight. Writer, sometimes director, but not of Swingers, and producer. And soon you will find him on Friends.
That's right.
When is that going to air?
I think, I guess it's the next one now, because this one just aired. So next week is the first episode that I did.
And you'll be doing 2 or 3 of these?
More than that, yeah. About a half dozen of them, I think.
Oh, really?
When we're all said and done, yeah.
And what if it works out? I mean, what if they love you and, you send in all that bogus email under different names and whatnot? Is it something you might want to hang out and do for a while?
This was like a nice little vacation for me, because I'm a writer primarily and a filmmaker. And I've been looking at, there are a lot of projects that I've committed to do. So Marta and David and Kevin approached me, the producers of the show, and asked me if I'd like to do a stint on it. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the show.
How'd you learn your filmmaking skills?
From being, my first film that I was in was Rudy, and I just
What part you play in Rudy?
I was the fat friend. D-Bob was the name.
All right, because I saw Rudy. You must have really lost some weight.
I lost a lot of weight, which is kind of nice that, there I was 4 years ago, the fat friend of Rudy, and now I'm sort of a love interest of Courtney Cox on Friends, which is...
And you just observed what they were doing?
I watched what they were doing,
That's it?
It's when you're an actor, it's really a great experience to be on a film, because you could either sit in your trailer and just eat, or you could sit on the set and everybody's real friendly to you, and everybody's
eat.
encouraged and eat there too.
Right.
And they show you everybody. I've never been on a film set where people haven't answered any question that I had.
All right, try doing a stand-in for Judgment Night, which is
that
my
what you did?
experience on a film set. Yes, I stood in for one of the bad guys on Judgment
Dennis
Night.
Leary?
One of Dennis Leary's wacky sidekicks. Yeah, and the real comedy is they have these stand-ins because when you're shooting a movie, unlike television, but even in TV they have stand-ins. But in movies they have the lighting director and all these grips and gaffers and stuff, and it takes a very long time for them to set up a shot.
Sure.
I mean, sometimes hours and hours, and that's why the stars are always in their trailers or in their dressing rooms. They have to go get them. They don't just shoot right through. And they need these stand-ins, and they will put them in the exact same wardrobe. They will get guys that are the same height and same hair coloring and whatnot to stand in the exact positions that the stars would so they can light it just right. I looked nothing like my guy.
Like Everlast. Was that who you were? They shaved your head?
No, the guy from, what group is Everlast
House
from?
of Pain.
House of Pain, yes.
They shaved your head and they stuck you in a...
No, I was, I can't think of the guy's name, but the point is I knew one of the ADs and he got me on, and that's why I was 5 inches taller and my hair was 4 inches shorter and looked nothing like it. And each time the lighting director would come by, he'd always kind of stare at me because the other three guys were the spitting image of the characters. All right, so I have some film experience myself.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Sandy.
Hello?
You're 20, you're on LoveLine.
Yes, my question is for Dr. Jewel. It's a two-part question, actually. I was wondering, can stealing be an addiction?
Not really. It can be part of thrill-seeking behavior that addicts will sometimes crave or pursue.
What if you steal heroin?
But it is something really distinctly different. Do you steal a lot?
Well, I started when I was like 13 every once in a while, you know.
Yeah.
But lately it's gotten to be more and more.
Yeah, that's. Do you have any opinions
Isn't that
about this?
kleptomania? I thought that there was or is that like just on cartoons?
Yeah, I'm not. That's not a term that's in the common vernacular, and it may or may not be.
It used to be huge.
Well, all kinds of terms used to be real popular, and I maybe there is some syndrome like this. It's more thought of in terms of the expression of people's internal character structure.
All right, so
and this antisocial is really what this is all about, and again, some kind of acting out of something. You're getting some kind of emotional payoff for doing it.
What kind of stuff are you lifting?
Well, just about anything that I could fit up a coat sleeve or in a pocket.
Yeah, it's
when I walk into a store, the first thing I look for is cameras.
Oh, really?
Cameras?
You know, just to see if I could get...
Oh, both these guys want to meet you all of a sudden.
Well, no. I mean, I got a bunch.
What do you got?
Yeah, I thought you saw both you guys a light bulb go over your head.
No, I want one of those disposable ones if you could lift me one of those.
What's the second part?
No,
Something happened.
I mean surveillance cameras.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, I
You
see.
steal
All right.
those? Well, you're good.
No. And my other question would be, can you have many addictions at once, or?
Of course. And again, it is a biological predisposition to an activation of the reward systems. And so, yes, you can be addicted
What else
to
are you addicted
thrill,
to?
addicted to sex, addicted to gambling, eating, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, speed, cocaine. These are all the things that will
You
activate
said cocaine
that.
twice there.
I did indeed. Thank you.
I know I'm addicted to food because I have a really bad weight problem.
Yeah, I mean, Sandy, but there's more going on here than just addiction, I suspect. And you don't sound like a happy person. You sound like you've got a lot of something you're acting out. And
it's been kind of a hectic year.
Yeah.
I found out some things that
What?
Okay, I had this boyfriend like a year ago that I was like really, really in love with, and after we broke up, I found out that my mother slept with him.
Ugh.
All right, so your mom's troubled to some degree.
Yeah.
Some
a large degree.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when I confronted her about it, she tried to turn it around on me like it was my fault.
Oh, Sandy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everybody that has crappy parents.
Yeah.
And have people.
I mean, she was a good mom until this happened.
No, she wasn't.
No.
No.
I'm going out on a limb, but I'm going with no. John?
Not unless she has a brain tumor
this
now.
is, it's hard to joke about this stuff here. I'm sorry.
All right, so Sandy, here's the situation. your mom's a little off. You grew up in a tough environment, and you've survived a lot of strife and anguish, and now you're sort of acting out. You're stealing, eating a little too much, and all that kind of stuff. You know what's going on, and that's why you called up. You're 20. That's young as hell. How old are you, John?
Me, I'm 30.
I'm 32, and at age 20, my head was spinning around like a pinwheel.
Yeah, it's gonna make you're gonna get through it, and it's gonna make you a better person. In all seriousness, and that's how you get strong in life. And you got to just push past it. I think I've never had to put up with anything like that. I mean, I've had my hardships, but there's nothing that's insurmountable. And I think that once you deal with that stuff, I think all the other problems are going to go away. You'll find yourself. I lost a lot of weight. I lost like 70 pounds because I made my life better. And you'll find a way to make your life better in all seriousness. And I think that all the stealing and all those other things will probably just, those are just secondary
Where were you
problems.
at your height, weight-wise?
I was like 290.
Really?
Did other people?
You got stretch marks now?
Yeah, I don't have stretch marks, but my body changed significantly. My skin isn't as tight as somebody who was always thin.
Right.
It's going away now. I've kept it off for about a year or two.
Were there other people that helped you grow through this?
I've always had very good friends,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of what the film Swingers was about. Is all the friends were funny, but they're really there for each other.
I'm really the opinion that people do not grow or heal or get better emotionally and physically sometimes without connections, real close, genuine connections with other human beings.
Let me ask you this, John. How you are? Well, you're sort of a star now, so it's a little tough to judge. But how do people treat you? The difference between 70 pounds, between being 290 pounds and 210 or 15 pounds.
It's a lot different, and I think it's sort of and it sort of serves it's like this weird catch-22. It's like you're heavy, and so people treat you different, but then people treat you different, so you stay heavy. It's like this weird thing you can get caught in.
Right.
But I found that when I started losing the weight, it had more to do with, I don't know whether it was me feeling better about myself that made me lose the weight or losing the weight that made me feel better about myself.
It developed some momentum to it. Yeah.
So I think you just take a step in that direction. You start acting a certain way, and then your life changes around that.
Were you overweight as a kid, too?
I wasn't bad, but at the time that Swingers was based on, I was overweight, and I was not overweight when we shot it. But if you look at that film and realize that the character was overweight in addition to sort of being hung up on being out of a relationship, you start to see why he's so depressed.
Right.
And in Hollywood, coming from Chicago, from the Midwest where I was living, it's a lot harder to be overweight. People are in much better shape here and tend to judge you on those superficial...
We've made that point, even though Adam gets attacked for being discriminatory towards people who are overweight.
I'm a champion of husky people.
Yeah, we've made the point that it's one of the most severe forms of discrimination.
And
it's pretty rough, yeah.
Here's the situation. Well, the example I use is I have a lot of a-hole buddies, and they would date anybody from any culture and any race as long as they were thin.
Mm-hmm.
But they would not date a big fat girl from any race. And a lot of guys are that way.
I think that's society, because you put,
it is.
You put somebody in, like... back. Look at the Rubenesque women that they painted. Back then, nobody had any food, so they would draw these big, voluptuous, fat women, and everybody would pine for them because nobody was eating. Everybody was all ripped.
It was aristocratic and
it's like
healthy.
In Speed Racer, he has huge eyes because it was drawn in Japan. It's sort of the same. Yes, it is.
Where nobody has, where eyes are thin.
Yes, and it's an exaggeration. Please, Drew,
but
come on.
Look at John Travolta's body in that Saturday Night Fever. He's so skinny, but you remember him as being in great shape because people now are used to being more muscular, and even the women have gotten more muscular.
Yeah.
I think it just changes with the trends of the time.
Right. Plus, LA's where every a-hole from around the country, when they're kicked out of their town, they come to Los Angeles and then judge everyone accordingly. All right, we got to go to break. We'll be back with Jon Favreau, you, and Drew after this.
The voices are trying to throw me off while I'm trying to concentrate on this.
Okay, you're safe.
Thank you. LoveLine will be right back.
All right, LoveLine is back. I'll give the phone, I'll give the fax. We'll talk about Jon and Drew, but we have to take a 10-second break.
This is LoveLine on
Radio
Station.
All right, LoveLine continues. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew, the board-certified physician and the addiction medicine specialist, and Jon Favreau is our guest. He is the writer and producer and also stars in Swingers.
By the way, it's one of the best-written PR little pieces we've ever gotten.
Yes, nice and short with like triple spacing. That's the way I like it.
It's well written and it says everything it needs to say.
Oh, I know. We read these. Who's your? Is Kelly Bush is your public relations person? All right, she should get some sort of a Medal of Honor. Feel free to turn the guest mic on, Engineer Mike.
Hello?
Yeah. Right. Okay.
We have Janine, one of her representatives here. That's how they didn't just send me here. They sent me an entourage to come here and make sure that everything was good. And she opened my bag of potato chips for me. That's the kind of thing they do there at Kelly Bush.
That is a star treatment. Yeah, tell her to scrape. They're a little salty on one side. See if she could have those blown off. But I read a lot of bios, and a lot of these publicists, it's just such BS. I mean, it's like, and it's so over the top. But we get these women on, and it says,
this Harvard grad,
Harvard grad, when she walks into the room, men and women weep. Her beauty is profound. She's a deity, and it just goes and goes and goes. And I think, and then I see her, and I go, yeah, I think I could get her though. I mean, come on.
That's old school. That's like the Absolutely Fabulous. You ever see that show,
right?
The British show? I think she's a publicist, the main character in that, where they're just these overwhelming spin doctors.
And here's the thing: the problem is you can only do that so many times before people just think everything that comes out of your mouth is complete BS.
Why, mine doesn't say that you weep when I come in? What does it
say? Says
talk to her.
You're a chunky. You're not very well spoken. The whole Swingers thing, quite frankly, it says down at the bottom, is a fluke. Get him while you can, because he's going back to Chicago to clean flues at a pizza place.
Right.
So,
well, thanks for having me here on LoveLine.
Yeah, that's basically what it says. For being a sport, we'll give another plug to the Improv Olympic, which is part of the reason that Jon is here tonight.
Part of the reason. I used to study improvisation back in Chicago with Del Close and Sharna Halper, and they're opening up a theater.
And can people study with these people?
Yeah, I believe they can. I don't know if they have classes set up out here. Hopefully they will soon. I certainly learned a lot about
Where was
writing.
the theater in Chicago?
Producer Ann says yes, there are.
Oh, they are good. In Chicago, the theater, it moved around a lot. I think they're in Wrigleyville now, but back when I was there, it was a bar called At the Tracks. It would float around a bit.
And we're in many towns, and usually there'll be a place where they'll have improvisational theater troupe, and oftentimes they'll have classes.
Yeah.
And it's a good way, if you're interested in acting or writing, to get in there and sort of hone your craft a little bit, as opposed to just memorizing monologues or writing spec scripts.
Yeah, that was
for
Frasier.
Me.
I just got it was great, because I went there, and when I visited Chicago from New York, Chris Farley was on stage. I think Mike Myers was there, Tim Meadows. A lot of these people who moved on to be pretty famous now. And I watched them improvise. And what appealed to me was it was none of the stuff I didn't like about acting, like studying my lines and stuff. And you got to just get on stage and try to be funny and lay it on the line.
Right.
And there was quite a skill to it. It wasn't as easy as I thought.
No, and there are many rules that people don't understand. It's not necessarily just being about who's the funniest. Yeah. There's building the scene, there's agreeing, there's establishing the location and the relationship and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting thing. It's an esoteric skill, but it's a skill nonetheless. And it's a lot of you. Hey, you can just have a good time with it. Those of you who aren't even interested in pursuing acting or writing can just get out and blow off a little steam once a week. You take one of these classes, or you can go watch it.
Go watch it. They're opening on Saturday, March 8th, the Improv Olympic on Highland and Hollywood Boulevard. And the number for reservations is 213-694-2935. They help me out a lot, coming up taught me, and it's nice for me to be able to plug them a little bit now.
David.
Hey.
Hey, you're 13. You're on LoveLine.
Yeah. John, you're like the coolest guy, and I've been listening to LoveLine for a long, long time.
Oh, thanks a lot.
And I was just wondering, are you coming out with any new movies or anything like that?
I've been working on a lot of stuff. I just wrote a film for Universal called Leatherheads, which is about the 1926 NFL when it was pretty brutal and pretty scary.
Like a comedy or something like that?
There's some funny stuff in it, but I wanted to write a really nasty, gritty, violent, muddy movie. And the NFL back then was pretty violent.
Yeah.
And that should be a lot of fun. They're going out, they're submitting it, I guess, they're trying to attach a director to it. And I'll probably be in it in one of the roles. But that's the next thing I've done. And now I'm working on Friends as an actor, taking a little break from stuff now that I finished the script.
Swingers is like, that's my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah? Where do you live?
See this?
Oh, really? Yeah, sure. We shot all of it over there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some more work up there. I really like that neighborhood in Hollywood.
They're going to shoot Leatherheads in your living room, so talk to your folks. Tell them to clear out the end table.
Right. Okay, so I just wanted to know if you're coming out with any new movies.
Yeah, that's the next thing is probably movies takes a long time to do, so the next one's probably going to be Leatherheads. Yeah,
It's an interesting idea because it's one that's not really been done.
No, they do a lot of people get real, wax poetic about baseball a lot, but football way back when pro football started was viewed kind of like they view the Ultimate Fighting Championship now.
Right.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, no
interesting.
kids and women were into it.
But colleges sort of were into it.
College was different.
Yeah.
College was if a college player went to the pros back in the 20s, they would take away their letter. It was really frowned upon, and the pros started in the small towns in the Midwest where they didn't have the colleges. So the whole film's about Ernie Nevers, who was a college star coming into the NFL and seeing how different the world was with the Jim Thorpes and the Johnny Bloods.
Is this based on real history?
Yeah, I researched it. My dad went off to Canton to research it for me. I read about 6 books, and all these characters are real characters, and I tried to sort of do my
Canton is Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Even I know that.
All right. No, Drew does. Where the hell did you learn that?
Football.
It must have been the back of one of those.
When I had time, when my life was my own.
Yes.
I loved football.
All right. Oh yeah, Drew played 7.5-man football in his collegiate days.
Who was the half?
They had it was no, I think it was just it was 6-man football. Well, one guy was 7-man football. One guy was huge, so they counted him as a half.
Or one guy was Brenda.
What'd you play? 8-man football? Nah. See, I played 11-man. Oh, I was all Central Valley, by the way, here in the San Fernando Valley.
Congratulations.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a week since I brought that up on the air. Thanks for reminding me. Tina, 17.
Tina?
If you'd like to make a call.
Oh, we had to lose Tina, 17.
Yes.
But Brenda's back.
Rick.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, you're 17. You're on LoveLine.
How you doing, John?
How's it going? You caught me drinking water here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, man.
That's all right.
Hey, I got a lot of questions here about. I'm not circumcised, and usually when I have an erection without my girlfriend around, it's pretty normal. But when I have my girlfriend around, it seems like the skin or something gets caught under the head.
Right. That can happen.
So it doesn't get really up, Doesn't get to the full extent that I usually have one.
I wouldn't blame that on the foreskin.
No?
It sounds. I would blame it on the foreskin if it happened all the time.
Right. You're not swapping out penises when a female enters the room. It's the same penis, different blood.
Yeah.
But the foreskin can sort of narrow and get caught so the head can't come through. And that can be really unpleasant, actually.
So is that normal? I mean,
if that starts happening...
also, there's a lot of, I guess, what's called pre-cum, I guess.
Yeah.
And
that is a technical term.
Yes. Pre-jizz, I believe, is the technical term. But
all right, I'll use that term, too. But, yeah, so, I mean, is all that normal?
I have post-urine syndrome. It's a little different than pre-cum.
Have you considered Judaism?
No.
And that is the point that if there are problems, see a urologist. They can either they can open it back up or give you a circumcision.
Yeah. Boys, here's our problem. Rick's penis is fine. He's having difficulty around his girlfriend, and I think that's what we need to focus on.
Is she Jewish?
No, she's not.
Okay.
It's just with this girlfriend you have the problem?
I think I've had that before.
Is it?
I mean,
I've had it definitely before.
All right, but Rick, here's what I'm saying, and here's what I'm saying to John and Drew. His penis functions perfectly because when he's alone and the mood is right, he's having himself. The mood is right more than 3 or 4 times a day, I'm guessing, with a 17-year-old Rick. And there's no difficulty there. So when he's around a woman and he has difficulty, it is not a physiological problem or not a skin problem, a foreskin problem. It is a psychological thing that is going down.
Right.
He's not getting a full erection. So please come clean with us, Rick.
I think if you're 17, you have a girl that you're having an erection around, you should be pretty happy right off the bat, because I didn't have any sort of.
But he's having a sort of
companionship.
semi-erection.
Yeah, I'm afraid, if we have sex and stuff, that I ain't gonna be able to get it all the way up.
I know what you. I hear you, brother. I
Look,
hear
we've
you.
all been there.
Think about baseball.
Have you ever had sex before?
What's that?
Have you ever had sex?
No, I'm a virgin.
Okay, particularly before guys are experienced, this routine. This is a very common thing.
You have to know you can do it. There's something weird about sex, but once you know you can do it, once you know you've pleasured a woman, you've had a full erection, you carried it the full 3.5 minutes to ejaculation, and everyone was happy, then you're good from that point on. But there's a certain apprehension at the beginning where you don't know that you can do it. Your penis is not fully convinced, and there's a lot of trepidation, and oftentimes, we get this call all the time, Rick. I'll bet 50% of the guys under 18 don't get a good erection during their first physical encounter with a woman. So you're all right, Rick.
Does the fact that I'm not circumcised?
No, it isn't.
How about when I last? Will I last long? Will I last less longer than a normal person?
Probably longer.
Right, but worry about starting, not finishing here, Rick. All right, please do not put the head in front of the foreskin. So this is what I wanted to focus on, Drew. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This pain medication. Drew, you're not giving me some kind of stink eye, are you?
Stink eye?
No.
What's a stink eye?
I'm getting a weird vibe off of you tonight. Is that the medication?
Were you starting to get paranoid on me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm feeling fine.
Oh, you are?
This is a safe place for me.
Okay, you
and
feel
I'm
good?
a guest, yeah.
All right, then I'm relaxed. Jason, 18.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
First, I want to say hi to John, dude. That was one of the best movies I've seen in the last 3 years.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
And I have one question before my whole question.
And by the way, it speaks to the fact of how much people crave reality.
Oh, I'm telling you,
people crave what they know,
so
and then a real sort of a genuine interpretation of what they know is real.
And let me kiss John's butt a little more here and say it's real nice that you're making a movie that's accessible, and you're exposing younger people to something decent with some dialogue and some character development, and instead of the basic, shoot 'em up, rock and roll, Schwarzenegger, big budget mess. And it's nice because most of the people, Jason's 18, but the other guy was 13. I think the guy before him was 13, who've praised the movie, are all under 20, which is kind of cool.
And there's no sex and really no violence. There's a lot of profanity in it, but that's
part of life.
Yeah,
to be expected.
Deal with it, right?
All right, Jason.
And right before my real question is it true that the guy who played Trent is going to be in the sequel to Jurassic Park?
Yeah, he's going to be. His name is Vince Vaughn. He's going to be in the Lost World.
Yeah, do you know what his character is? Because I've read the book.
I think it's a different character that's not in the book, although he plays like a real, from what he said, it sounds like a really cool guy that everybody's going to, like the Han Solo type character.
Oh, okay, so he's going to be in it a lot?
Real renegade. Oh, yeah, he's one of the stars of it. And it sounds like it was just a blast. So I visited the set once. It just looked amazing.
And you were in PCU, huh?
That's right. I played gutter in PCU.
Yeah, I was listening to how you said you were heavier earlier, and I was blown away when I saw that.
Well, cool. Yeah, a lot of people your age seem to like that film, PCU.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It was pretty funny, even though I thought it was going to be just some BS Animal House ripoff, whatever.
Yeah,
it had a lot of laughs.
It was a good BS Animal House ripoff.
And then my question is, I used to just smoke pot for years and years, and was never too interested in anything else. And
that's what pot does to you, yeah.
Hold on, Jason, you're 18.
I was just, happy.
You're 18. How many years did you cruise through life before you gained interest in more illicit drugs?
Well, I did it for 3 years.
Okay.
What typically happens with pot is that people begin looking around for other things because
because you irritated me the other night.
Wait,
when
hang
you were saying
on.
that.
Because the effect
Me too.
The effect has to wear off. And so you get more irritable, you get a little depressed, and it's not working for you anymore.
No. It was just like I was kind of scared to do anything else before, more or less.
Well, yeah, I think pot really plays into that. I don't smoke pot. I don't like pot. For me, I know people who seem to function with it, but to me, I've sort of needed every sort of ounce of motivation I had to accomplish what I did.
Yeah.
And pot just makes you lazy, self-conscious, and
Right, I'm going to college now, and I've just like resigned myself to like once or twice on the weekend. That's it. No during the week. Take care of my work.
Well, that's a good step. I just don't advocate it at all, to be honest. I don't think it should be illegal. I think it should be legalized, but I don't like the drug at all.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But my question is, I started like last December, like with acid and mushrooms, and I did a lot of it,
John completely advocates that, by the way.
And I wanted to know, is my head gonna be like really messed up, years down the road?
Yes,
Because
absolutely, your brain is going to be affected by this.
Well, if you do it too much.
Well,
they say 6 times you're legally insane, right?
Well,
Doing
that's
acid?
sort of the urban myth, and what that means nobody really can interpret. But I'll tell you what I see all the time, and a day does not go by that I'm not seeing a new patient with this syndrome, and that is significant chronic disruption of mood. And sometimes these depressions don't come on until 10 years after the acid use has stopped. Definitely the marijuana disrupts mood, but that tends to come back pretty quickly after people stop using marijuana. It does not come back with acid.
I'll tell you what acid does to you. Everybody who drops acid starts to become the same person. The same acid guy.
You know what?
Interesting.
It's actually written about in the literature that in the 70s when they were...
Hold on, everyone. Drew's sitting up in his chair. This is John.
This is just something I've noticed from people I know.
I want to just commend you. Yeah. This is a milestone. Drew
Really?
is sitting up. He's actually speaking into the microphone. He's not looking at his pager. He's put down outside reading material. This is a first. Go, Drew.
Is that what they call a stink eye? What you were just doing to me?
Yes, go.
All right, thank you. But when the 70s, when they were trying to defend acid, they were writing the literature in such a way as to defend the fact that people's personalities were changing. They did describe these sort of same kinds of characteristics evolving in people, and they're not what I would want to evolve into, frankly. It's pretty scary stuff.
All right. Colby, 23.
I listen to your show all the time. My question's not necessarily for you or Drew. It's just for whoever will answer it. There's this girl that I sometimes, I'll go and do stuff with her, and we'll have sex. And after the first time that, I fire, I guess you'd say, or something, I can't go again. But when I'm with other girls, it's like, I wait a little while, and then I can go ahead and go again.
Is her name Bridget? Or does she work at Wendy's?
Brenda.
I'm sorry.
No, she doesn't.
No, okay.
That was a hybrid between Brittany and Brenda.
There we
both
go.
of our stars this evening.
All right, so Colby, what is the refractory period usually when you're with one of these girls where you can... How long does it take you to load another cartridge into the chamber?
About 20 minutes.
Good for you. Good for you.
Don't worry.
How old are you?
Add
23.
23?
I want you to add a half hour with each passing year. And I'm 32 now. I'm at a week and a half.
Well, I'm just wondering, because with this one, I can't do it again.
What do you think it is, Colby?
I don't know. She's older. She's older than most of the girls that I go with.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Maybe it's just...
Are you more involved with her? Are you less involved with her?
I think it might be that I'm less involved because, it's just like the only time I call her is when I want something.
Well, then what the heck? Why don't you... it's so sad when people use people that way.
No, it was her idea to even have the relationship.
No, guess what? That's what she tells you, but she's being hurt by this too. If you're not...
How old is she?
38.
Okay,
All right.
She's not being hurt. Yeah.
No, she was in a bad marriage for many a year. The sex dried up. The love was gone. She recently got divorced, and now she's sowing her wild oats.
Hey, take her to Improv Olympic. I think that's what you do.
Colby, let me ask you a question. Do you actually enter the apartment, or you just stuff your penis through the mail slot?
I actually enter the...
All right. So there's some relationship going on there. Is she divorced?
Yeah.
And was what I said correct?
Actually, it was pretty recently, and she does hate her ex-husband.
Right,
You're
and
a psychic.
she's when she looks at you, she pictures her ex as either boss or brother. I haven't nailed it down yet. All right, so Colby, this is a non-question. It doesn't deserve an answer, and with that, we'll go to break.
I don't think they're aware of how much they suck.
Hey, that's not very nice. You kissed my mother with that mouth? I mean, your mother.
LoveLine will be right back.
Phone number for Loveline, 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. Jon Favreau is here from Swingers. Star, writer, producer. Hey, he's also on Friends and also doing the Improv Olympic thing. So many irons in the Jon Favreau fire. Jesse.
Hey.
You're 25. You're on Loveline.
Hello. My question is for Big John.
Yeah.
I am currently in the process of moving to Hollywood, and I was curious as to what advice you might have for a young actor.
Stay home.
If any. What was that?
He says stay home. It's really, if you knew the odds, you wouldn't want to come out.
Well,
so just, but just
I
know
went to
that.
school for it and all that, so I might as well put my degree to some use.
I think you should. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I'm just saying understand that, and understand it's going to take every sort of ounce of motivation you have, and
yeah,
it's very gratifying if you do get to sort of achieve any level of your dream.
Right.
And each step of it, I tell you, I was more excited getting my first commercial than I was when Swingers premiered, because it was a big step.
What was the commercial?
It was some local commercial that never ran because we shot it right before the Gulf War, and all TV stopped. So
really?
They were about to run my Chevy commercial. And,
I really hate when that happens.
Yeah, it was horrible.
For John, thank you for glorifying the Dresden. I'm kind of in the swing scene, and I went to the Dresden for the first time last night. It was quite nice.
Oh, isn't it great? Marty and Elaine are there singing
Marty, was great.
on Vermont, and then there's Carl's Place.
Fly Me to the Moon, and he played it instantly.
Yeah, they're great there. There are a lot of bars that we featured in the film in that area.
Dresden has been around for a long time.
Yeah, it has.
Jesse.
Sir.
I know you don't care about my take on this, but I'll give you my take. Here's what I would say.
I don't care. No, just kidding.
All right. Please. I'm on medication.
Go ahead, please.
If you love acting, then do it because you love it. And if something comes of it, then that's icing on the cake. Other than that, you're doing it because you love it. And that's something you should do in life anyway. I mean, you should pursue your muse.
I enjoy making people laugh. So if I can make money at that, then hey.
Right.
Right on.
Right. And because I know, I have 1,000 actor friends doing that whole, the whole sketch comedy world and all that kind of stuff. And the ones that are constantly, going on auditions and coming back PO'd because they didn't get the gig and always trying to land their next sitcom when the season comes up or replacements or whatever, they're constantly miserable because of course you're going to be miserable when you're trying to go for something that you're not getting. I mean, the thing about acting, even at John's level, is you're not going to get all the stuff you want to get. There's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of disappointment. Yeah. But if you're doing it because you enjoy the process and because that's what you do, then it's not as painless or painful.
That's what's so hard about this town is it's hard to just do it because nobody cares. When I was in Chicago, it was nice because people would come out to the theater and support it, and you could do a show in a storefront. Out here, it's kind of rough because unless you have a big star in your show, nobody's going to come see it.
Right.
So what I decided to do was make a film, and that's kind of how Swingers came together. You have a lot of filmmakers out here who are willing to work for not a lot of money just to put something together. And what you see on the screen is just us just trying to pass the time and do something because we love doing it, not to make money, not to make a break for ourselves.
How did you raise the money for it, or were you involved with that?
The director, Doug Liman, had he had secured some financing for the film. It didn't take too much, but
sold a kilo or something.
I don't think so. I don't know. It was through independent financing and investors, and he was able to structure something in that way. But you sort of do whatever you can, beg, borrow, and steal, and ask for favors and have people donate their time and defer payment. And you'd be amazed at how many people will donate their time just to be part of something special to keep busy.
What you were talking about earlier when we first signed on was that you had a lot of these guys, crew members and stuff, on deferred payment. Right. And then when Miramax came in and bought the thing, they paid them off.
Yeah, we paid them out of what they paid us.
Right.
And, there's a way to do it. But like you say, just just do what you love to do and don't let somebody else's approval be the thing that makes you enjoy it
and,
or not.
and if you're doing it just because you want to see yourself on TV, don't bother anyway.
Don't do it, because you know what? That's the least gratifying part. As a matter of fact, it's a curse more than a blessing.
Right. Sarah, 16.
You all right?
Oh, yeah.
What can we do for you?
Well, I'm 16, and I'm going out with a guy, and he's 30.
Oof.
Yeah.
And he is a loser.
That's kind of rough.
Something's wrong with him.
Well, I mean, it's not like there's anything wrong with him.
No, something is wrong with him. And the problem, Sarah, is that I'm sure to you it seems quite appropriate, but you can't judge what a healthy 30-year-old should be like. It's not a peer of yours. You know? Yeah. It's hard to judge what a 30-year-old should be.
Well, let's check this guy's story a little bit. Where'd you meet the guy?
I met him, actually, it was at a party that one of my friends threw.
Uh-huh. At the Chuck E. Cheese?
Another 16-year-old.
No.
How old was your friend that threw the party?
She's 17.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's different. And what was there? She got her braces off and they threw her a little bash, or what happened?
No, we just, it was actually her birthday.
Uh-huh.
And her boyfriend is his nephew. And we just got together, we started talking.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, then we just started talking on the phone and everything.
What does he do for a living? Not to sound
he's
like your mom, but...
What?
What's he do?
He works for AT&T.
Oh, okay. Okay, that explains a lot. And he lives alone?
He lives with his nephew, who's my friend's.
How did that work out? What's up with that? Just him and the nephew?
No, and his uncle, which is,
his brother.
I don't know.
All right, so he's living at home. It's just the folks died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Party of 5. Okay.
Right.
Sarah, I'm 30, okay? I cannot imagine having a conversation for more than a couple minutes with somebody 16. I've been on dates with women who are in their early 20s, and I feel disconnected with them, and I'm not normal. And I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm not bragging that I know what's going on, but it's just, I couldn't even imagine myself with somebody your age. You know, you're more like a little sister or like a daughter.
Yeah, he's old enough to be my dad.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, he might be a great guy, but I kind of got to be with Dr. Drew there.
He's inherently flawed. It is one of these situations where it's almost a mathematical equation. This equals that.
Yeah, and the reason people get disturbed about this is because of the impact it can have on you. The young person is the one ends up getting hurt in this.
What grade are you in? Me,
I'm a junior.
All right, so you're in 11th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, and this guy's not going to the junior prom or anything, is he?
No. We were trying to keep this whole thing a secret because he's concerned about me being 16, and if the law found out about it, they'd most likely...
You guys having sex?
Yeah, we've had it twice. And, like, a big concern of ours is not only me getting pregnant, but if I get pregnant, he probably wouldn't be able to have a part of it since he's 30, and if my family found out he was the dad, they'd probably shoot him anyway.
Yeah. What do you mean wouldn't be able to have a part of it? He would be, I assure you, having a part of it. He would have a responsibility that you could enforce.
He wouldn't be, like, up in there and everything. You know, I would not be able to tell my family he was the father.
Hey,
I wouldn't be able to tell my family.
Get yourself a nice senior, a nice 12th grader. And I just think that it's just, I'll bet if you look, has he dated other people your age before you?
No, I'm the youngest he's ever dated.
The previous one was 17 and a half.
Right.
All right, Sarah, we're all relatively sane, and we don't trust this guy. And you're calling because you have some concern. So follow that instinct. You understand?
Yeah, I just don't know how to break it off with him. I mean, I've gotten really attached to him, and
this is what we try to protect you from.
Right.
This is what your mother will just die about, and they want to protect you. They don't want you to hurt. They don't. It's not that they don't want you to enjoy yourself. They don't want you to be an adult. They don't want you to be harmed. And this could be nothing but pain for you.
And you're going to fall in a much deeper love with somebody closer, who's more of a peer to you that you could relate to more than you'll ever feel for this guy. This is just going to be disappointment down the line. So I think it would be a mature thing to just break it off as soon as you can.
Someone who does not have 8 tracks of Iron Butterfly and Uriah Heep and Mountain lying around the van. All right? You want a nice young Smashing Pumpkins type boy to date. All right. Robert, 26.
Hi, guys. I've really enjoyed your show over the last couple months for the entertainment value and the educational value. I guess because of the respect I've developed for you guys, I've kind of internalized the values of therapy. And my question for you is, because of some information that I recently learned about someone who I very much idealized and I very much put on a pedestal.
All right. But who did what to whom?
Which parent?
Okay, well...
Which Wendy's?
Yeah, I know you guys know that information, but my main question is, how does someone who does not have money...
listen.
Well, you guys talk about therapy.
Robert,
Yes.
listen to me.
Yes, Adam.
Ask us your question.
Okay, my question is, you guys are big proponents of therapy, and how does someone who isn't financially capable of affording expensive therapy, how do they go about getting help or
totally
for an issue that they really feel they may need therapy for?
Very, very good question, and one that we don't address enough, I'd say, because it is something that is not readily available to everybody.
Absolutely.
And
It is a bit of an elitist type activity.
They have clinics, though. They have
Absolutely.
free services.
Yes, they do. They tend to be relatively limited, and if you want to have extended sort of comprehensive treatment, people end up having to belly up in some way. Even if you have insurance, they typically don't cover much.
Well, look at it this way. You can be on welfare, and you could become addicted to heroin, and you could scrape enough money together each week to fulfill your habit. I mean, I went to therapy when I was like 19 or 20. I was making $7 an hour digging ditches, doing construction, and I would sit down there, and it was, $50, $60 a pop, which was an entire day's work for me digging ditches, which completely sucked. Especially on the days I didn't make it and they charged you anyway. But the point is if it's something that's important to you, you'll find a way.
Plus, I think that any therapist worth their salt, if they find that you're somebody who needs them, might be able to work something out.
Most all of them will work. Yeah, but the problem is their windows. Some of their windows is between $80 an hour and $140 an hour. And when
Still
you're
a lot of
looking
money.
more $20 an hour,
Yeah.
it's tough. You can do group therapy.
There's group work. There's lots of institutions. Schools will have
Religious
interns.
institutions, too.
Theological seminaries have psychological institutes attached to them very often, where people are in training or will do prorated types of therapy. If you research it, you can usually find things that are affordable, but you have to look around. Department of Social Services is somebody you can turn to for referrals.
Cults.
Hopefully, avoid the cults.
Well, you can listen to this show for free too.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Just
right.
keep calling in.
That's right.
No, this is not treatment.
Oh, it isn't?
No.
What is this?
This is education.
Okay. Adam, 24, you're on LoveLine.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Ask your question, then we're going to go to break.
Okay, cool. I've got these little red dots. This is a question for the doctor. I've got these little red things that have come on my skin, and they start out as little red blisters, and they swell and kind of crack open. It's really kind of gross. The question being they're going in regions I don't want them to go.
Adam, one of the very most difficult things. Do you want to wait till after the commercial?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go to break, and then we'll get into the myriad of organisms that are festering on his genitalia.
I don't go in for these backdoor shenanigans. Shenanigans.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Shenanigans.
Chips, dips, chains, whips.
Shenanigans.
Basic high school orgy type of thing.
LoveLine, I'll be right back. Shenanigans.
All right, LoveLine with Jon Favreau from Swingers and Friends and Leatherheads and
yeah, we're plugging that. It doesn't even have a director attached yet.
An improv Olympic, and he's really man about town. And it just goes to show you that here's my theory, and pardon me for the snorting, but Drew just scored me an 8-ball in the parking lot. No, I'm sick, and I've been taking these drugs, and it's really screwing with my rhythm tonight. But Now that you've done Swingers and it's been so well received and everything, I'm guessing that people are sort of, and don't be modest here, people are lining up to do other projects with you. Now, all of a sudden, your ideas are good, whereas before Swingers, you were just another guy with another idea, and who cared?
No, that's very much true. And it has less to do with that my ideas are any better and more to do with just people's expectations and perception and your heat.
Right.
Big thing in Hollywood is how hot you are.
Right.
I could be the same guy, be involved with a movie that doesn't do well, and then all of a sudden my opinion doesn't mean as much in a meeting.
And here's what I'd like to underscore here, because I've had my share of meetings with these people. The powers that be in Hollywood, whether it be a TV, film, or what have you, on the development side, the guys who make the deals, they're businessmen. They're not artists.
True.
They're not artistic, and even though everyone kisses their ass and they'd like to think they had a brain in their head, most of them don't. And what they need, like all stupid people, is they need to hear that someone else likes the person. So meaning, if I come in with an idea and no one's heard of me, then it's a bad idea and they don't want to do it. I can come in with the exact same idea, but now Swingers has come out, and I have some clout, and it's a great idea. And this is the way they work.
I think that Hollywood and really most people that I've run into in the business world are motivated primarily by fear.
Right.
And they want a way to not be afraid. And if you're a proven commodity, it makes them less afraid to go with what you have to say. If you're unproven, they're scared.
Right.
And they're scared of losing their jobs, and especially a lot of these people who are in creative positions. A lot of them are very good, but some of them came up, like you said, through the business world, and they're scared of losing their jobs. They get far too much credit for the things that they get credit for, and much too much blame for the things they get blamed for.
Right. There's a lot of, let's not F up and lose our job.
Yeah,
we got a
lot
real
of fear.
cushy gig here. We got an expense account. Everyone relax, and let's not take any chances.
But the good guys hang in there, and once you get to a certain level when you meet with these people, you see why they're on top. And so on a certain level, I think you're wrong, but certainly probably with the people that you've dealt with in the beginning.
The people that you have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm dealing with guys who work out of like Sears tool sheds and stuff in the back of the San Fernando Valley.
But very occasionally you get to meet with the people who are really running the show, and those are the people, if they're up there and they're successful, it's not a coincidence. Those people hang in there for a good reason.
All right, well, I look forward to that day. Drew,
we're finishing up.
What are you writing in lemon juice now?
Well, everything I write, you pay no attention to it anyway.
Just write the goddamn number on the board so I can press something here, please. Boy.
That's how it works, huh?
Oh, yes. Adam, 24.
He's a little marionette. Now we just make him move.
What's going on?
Hey, Adam.
So, Adam, you got this rash. Unfortunately, people who call the show are not trained to describe dermatologic eruptions. And so it is virtually impossible for me to comment.
They're not really trained to talk about anything.
I understand,
but
people want to call about skin rashes all the time in the show, and it's one of the things that is most difficult for me to comment on.
Well, let me see if I can get to the bottom of it. It's on your penis?
No, that'd be better radio, I'm sure, but it's just getting that direction.
It's on your trunk.
Yeah,
it's working its way down.
And it's blisters?
Yeah, well, there's blisters, and the ones that have arrived on the trunk haven't really erupted yet. The ones that are around, like on my thigh and stuff, they erupt, and they'll get the size of a dime or so, and then just be all crusty and kind of gross.
It's a blister.
It turns into something that's not a blister. It starts out as a blister.
And then it ulcerates.
Right.
And it's not a pustule. It's a blister.
I'm going with rat mites.
No, this could be a lot of different things. Did they biopsy it?
No, some yuck doctor looked at it and said, well, maybe ringworm.
No, you need to see a dermatologist. Absolutely.
All right.
Don't go to the vet.
Here's what concerns me. There's something called bullous pemphigoid that can look like that.
Yeah.
And
I was going to bring that up.
It's actually pretty serious. It can be quite serious. Does it itch
John
or burn?
Scratched that out on a to paper and slid it across to Drew.
Does it itch or burn?
Oh, it itches like nuts.
And is there anything on the inside of your mouth at all?
Well,
teeth.
Not that
I. Cheek.
Not normal.
Cheek. Okay. Get a dermatologist to look at this because the pemphigoid can be pretty serious, and pemphigus, which looks
the singular,
the same, can be fatal.
Really?
Pemphigus is in the mouth and stuff too. He doesn't have that. So.
What is that?
It's a bizarre skin where basically the glue that glues your skin together comes apart, and then fluid starts filling in. These big things lift up, and you actually can push them. These blisters, you can push them along your skin. They'll actually
Really?
slide along. It's called the Nikolsky sign.
Oh, it's better than
learned something
Nintendo,
tonight.
this thing, yeah.
Wow.
Like that's going to stick 10 seconds after he described it to me. It's called what?
Nikolsky sign.
All right, see? I forgot again. Lynn, 13.
Hi.
Hey,
I think your guys' show is really cool.
thanks.
I have a question about, I have these two sisters, and they're bisexual. And
These two sisters.
I have two older sisters, and they're both bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
And would that be like an influence on me?
How much older are they?
They're my oldest one is 18, and the other one is 15.
I don't know
And
how.
they're like
I let me just go on record that I don't think anybody under the age of 18 can declare their sexual identity. I just don't think it's reasonable. I mean, yes, you may end up being bisexual or whatever you are. At
Well,
15,
you can
but
declare it, but it's like when you're 8, you declare you want to be an astronaut.
Exactly.
Everyone goes,
Right.
yeah, that's beautiful. Good luck to
so
you.
the 15-year-old is ambivalent or whatever. She's into her. She's whatever.
Well, she says like she's like in love with this girl and all this stuff.
All right, well, that's fine. And that's actually, most 15-year-old girls have very warm, intimate feelings toward women. And in our society, women tend to be associated with that which is erotic, so they may sort of be sexual feelings too.
Thank God.
It doesn't mean they're going to act them out necessarily. And in fact, I would advise 15-year-olds not to act on confusing feelings about their sexuality. It's better to let things settle, see where you end up, and then move on.
See, here's the thing too: is maybe if somebody's that age, they're experimenting, but because of the society we live in, they tend to declare themselves their sexuality, whereas they might just be exploring something.
Oh, absolutely. A society. I'm an
Very-
adult now.
very good point,
Yeah,
John.
that 15-year-olds want to be adult and be able to declare out to Thanksgiving dinner.
We live in a society where everyone picks a label. Ethnicity, you pick a label.
Hmong.
Right.
That was interesting.
Everybody's looking for something. It's like, hey, if you can't pay attention, you have attention deficit disorder.
Right.
If you can't spell, you're dyslexic. Everyone's looking for something to tack on to their condition. And Lynn, what's your mom into?
My mom?
Yeah.
Well, she's straight.
Where's Dad?
They're getting divorced right now.
Okay.
It adds to everybody's confusion and
Because my
people
sister told me that like there's a little bit of bisexual in like everyone.
That is true.
So I don't really want to be it, but
Then you're fine.
Yeah. Don't be what you don't want to be, and don't do anything. Don't act on confusing, conflicted, vague feelings. When you're clear that you want to be with somebody, whether it's a boy or girl, and you're sure, then begin to tiptoe
And
in.
please, no letters from the folks from GLAAD who are PO'd that Drew calls sexual ambivalence and not bisexuality, which they wholeheartedly endorse. Please, just put the pencils down
If
and
Lynn were 30,
continue
if Lynn were
watching
30
the,
and bisexual,
sweating to the oldies.
we would have a different discussion. We would be discussing this.
Continue your masturbating to the sweating to the oldies part 3, and just put the pen down, please. All right. That wasn't stereotypical, was it, John? Please, would you give me in one of your movies, would you?
Okay, Leatherheads.
Yeah.
You ready? You ready to play some football?
I used to play ball in high school.
7.5 Man. I heard all about it.
I could do it. No, it's true.
That was you?
I played at a regular. I went to North Hollywood High, a regular 11-man thing.
Okay, we'll let you know when it's happening.
Yeah, it was on the Green Sheet All-Star team or something, and then the paper was defunct. Ruth.
Yeah, hi. Okay, I got a question for you guys.
How old, Ruth?
I'm 18.
18, okay.
And it started in 7th grade. When I would do push-ups, I could get an orgasm. It's so strange because I was wondering like if I was the only one getting off in gym class or what.
Probably, but women can climax when they do certain things with their abdominal musculature sometimes. And
Yeah,
this
we've
may be-
had women call up and say that they're on some sort of piece of exercise equipment and had an orgasm, that they're driving in their car and they had some thought about the Lorenzo Lamas or something and popped a quick one off in traffic. Women
bless
can
her.
really just squeeze. For women, orgasm is akin to farting. It really is. This is the male equivalent to the female orgasm. Guy will say, "Yeah, I farted while I was riding a bike the other day. I farted in front of the TV, both hands on the remote." It really is the same thing if you think about it.
Was there anybody under you when you were doing these push-ups?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
I think it's great. I think
it's normal,
consider
but
yourself lucky.
Yeah, it's normal, but it's not.
And keep working out. Keep sweating to the oldies.
Stay off that rope they have at gym class, 'cause God knows how many orgasms you could have just on the way down. Jennifer, 25.
Hi.
Hey.
I hope you feel better soon, Adam.
It's not likely. It really isn't. I'm living with it now. That's all.
She's a nurturer.
Well, the important thing is that you've learned to deal with it.
Yes. I'm no longer in denial like I was last night. I was smoking red meat last night.
Dr. Drew
Yes, ma'am.
says every night that if you do a lot of acid or a lot of pot or a lot of anything when you're young, in 10 years or so, you're going to have some problems.
No.
Yes.
I
just
say
go
you're
with
very
that.
high risk for that.
No,
Okay.
please. True.
My
Just start
question
topping.
is, you're 10 years older now, and you're having some problems.
Yeah.
What do you do, and what are the symptoms? I mean,
Mood disturbances typically. A lot of depressions.
Go down to the park and smack the guy who was selling you the stuff, first off.
10 years.
What's happening, Jennifer?
oh, I have a friend that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, lots of mood problems. And the mood disorders of all types, too. People get bipolar, they get manic depressive. They mostly depressed. Mostly
What
chronic
drug?
persistent
What
depression.
drug was your friend on?
Acid, speed, pot.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was the acid that did the bulk of the damage there.
Now, will this cause later on someone to regress into more drug addiction?
Well, no, she
is
was.
that something
She,
that
well,
never goes away?
No, here's the deal. Yeah, the addiction. An addict is born an addict. The disease evolves as time goes along. If she is an addict, that needs to be treated. If she also has a mood disorder from the particular drugs that she was exposed to, that also needs to be treated and treated aggressively and separately. Because I saw a guy the other day who
With pharmacological agents is what
usually
you're
with
saying.
pharmacological agents, even sometimes with electric shock therapy and things like that. 'Cause
Really?
yeah, because these are very profound biological.
Can you do that at home, or do you have to go into?
You got to go somewhere. For that, so. Anyway, they both need to be treated. They need to be treated thoroughly.
All right, and you kids treat yourselves, and when we come back, we'll treat you a little more Jon Favreau.
I began to float up and away from my body.
Lady, you better get back here. If you're not here when LoveLine returns, they're gonna be pissed.
Float. Float. Float.
All right, Jon Favreau, thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, this is a treat. Thanks a lot, guys. I had a really good time here.
Talented guy and a very nice guy, and we do appreciate it. So, Swingers, look for it.
Yeah, it's still hanging on there at some of the art houses and midnight shows, getting a little bit of cult following.
It's worth the drive over the hill. And also, it'll be out on video soon enough, and please go and rent it and keep it for a few days.
And you'll let me plug these guys?
Yes, give it one more.
These guys at Improv Olympic help train me, and I studied with them in Chicago. Now they're out in Los Angeles out here, and they're going to be at the Stellar Adler Theater at Hollywood and Highland. Saturday, March 8th, they're premiering their first show, and I think it's $10, and the reservation hotline is 213-694-2935. Come on down and check them out.
All right, John, thank you very much. And until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
If you are still listening, you may feel the urge to touch yourself.
This has been LoveLine. The opinions expressed herein are certainly opinions, that's for sure. If you'd like a written transcript of today's program, you probably should have written it down yourself. And if you did, we'd like a copy. LoveLine producer Ann Wilkins.
This broadcast was copyright 1997 Westwood One Entertainment. This music is MXPX on Tooth and Nail Records.
Sit, Obo. Obo, stop dragging your butt across the carpet.